So going into this, I was like, oh hey, guy requests me make video, so I make in like a day. Because there's only like 6 armor sets in the game with set bonuses, right? Wrong! There's only 5 armor sets in the game that don't have bonuses. And all the rest of them have bonuses, plus some sets with secret bonuses. And to add to that, most of these sets are like super viable to use all the way to the end of the game. Starting off, we've got leather armor. You can craft this set by killing cows and makas for leather, and if all of the armor pieces in this set are reforged to masterful, you will also infinitely receive absorption and true shot for as long as you have them equipped. True shot will just increase your projectile damage by 3, and absorption will give you 2 golden hearts. You can reforge this set by using leather, as seen above, and I'll hover each item in this set to show you the durability, the level requirement, and the armor weight if you're a Phalus, which leather doesn't have any, so you'll see that in the later armor sets. The pros to leather armor are that it works with invisibility, so you can do a pretty sweet stealth build with it, and most enemies won't be able to see you as described in my video about the invisibility potion. The cons to this armor set, of course, are that it has very low base defense and very low durability, so it can get one-shot pretty often. Umbrium can be obtained by finding a defiled lands biome and mining the Umbrium underground. Alternatively, you can make an iron block and then right-click it with defiled powder crafted with the mushrooms in the defiled lands, and that'll turn it into a block of Umbrium. Equipping the full set will give you Strength 1, which gives you plus 3 melee damage, and Immunization, which gives you immunity to poison, hunger, nausea, weakness, and paralysis. You can reforge it with Umbrium ingots, and as far as pros go, it's really good early game for status immunity, its high durability, and its low level requirement. However, the cons are you have to find a defiled lands biome, which shouldn't be too hard, but it's also completely RNG. The golden armor set is definitely way better than it is in vanilla Minecraft, as the passive bonus for equipping a full gold set is that it gives you magic shielding 1, which gives you plus 4 magic armor, and magic focus 1, which gives you a 75% magic damage increase. Thorns deals magic damage, so its damage is greatly boosted by this armor set, and penetration is a melee weapon enchantment that can get you some really high early game DPS, as it converts 70% of the damage dealt into magic damage. Additionally, if you are the dragon race, you can use your race ability, which is a fireball, and that also does magic damage. The pros to this armor set is that golden osmosis exists, which if you have level 12 magic and you use all 6 skill points on it, it'll repair your armor just like mending, completely negating the need to even find mending or put it on your armor. It also gives you a set bonus with golden tools, making the swords deal 50% more damage, and the tools give you haste 1. The cons to this set is that it has really low durability, and golden bookworm armor is strictly better. Golden bookworm armor is basically just golden armor, but times 2. However, in order to obtain it, you'll need a bunch of golden bookworm scales. Since golden bookworms have only a 1% chance of spawning from either breeding bookworms or finding them in the wild, you can imagine this will take a while. And while you farm them, you'll probably want to kill them with luck arrows to increase the amount of scales that they drop. The set bonus for this armor gives you magic shielding 2, which is plus 8 points of magic armor, and magic focus 2, which deals 150% magic damage. The pros of this set is that it also can be repaired with golden osmosis, and the set bonus with the tools has double the effect, but the cons are it just is super painful to get and super painful to reforge. The Neptunium armor set can be found by fishing and by bounties. The set bonus for this armor set is swift swimming and water breathing, and it's reforged by Neptunium ingots. The pros for this set is that it has the highest durability in the game and is great for pretty much all content besides the Lost City's sentry projectiles, which are pretty much the only way this armor will break. The cons are that the base defense of this armor is the same as diamond armor. It takes lots of fishing and bounties to acquire, and even more to reforge it. Silver armor can be found by killing enemies or looting chests, or going to a dragon's nest in the cold biomes, but that's pretty dangerous. The bonus you get for equipping the full set is 50% movement speed and the Cure buff. Cure is amazing because it gives you immunity to almost every debuff in the game, and is just the upgraded version of immunization. It's also the only thing that can get rid of Lost City's fear entirely. The pros to this set is that the speed boost is amazing, It gives silver weapons a 50% attack speed boost. The cure buff is great for dealing with witches in the overworld, infernal mobs, and the lost cities. The cons are that if you take it into the lost cities, it can break if you aren't careful since it has really low base durability and it has low base defense. Jungle Myrmex armor can be acquired by killing Jungle Myrmex and using the chitin that you get from them to craft the armor. If you equip a full set, it gives you +1 block of step height, and it can only be reforged by using the same colored chitin that was used to craft it. The pros is that the step height increase is obviously pretty nice, it has decent durability and decent base armor. However, the cons in my opinion are that diamond armor is typically going to be easier to get, and you'll probably need a lot of Myrmex farms or dens to actually be able to acquire the armor and reforge it. Steel armor can only be acquired by mining syntheticite in the nether, combining it with coal and iron, and then smelting it in a furnace. The set bonus gives you immunity to burning, which is pretty nice, and 50% fire damage resistance. I think an obvious pro to this armor is that if you're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the nether, it's pretty nice. And it also has pretty decent durability in base armor, so that's a pretty big plus. As for cons, the only way to acquire it is by going into the nether, and the fire dragon eye is a bauble you can get later in the game that's really similar to this armor in terms of its effects. The chestplate is also one of the heaviest things that a Phalus can possibly wear. Deathworm armor can be obtained by killing deathworms, and the set bonus is 50% increased dig speed. However, it can only be reforged with the same colored deathworm chitin. The pros on this set is basically just the mining speed increase, and the pretty glaring cons of this set is that you have to kill deathworms to acquire it, which is, as stated in the name, a pretty deadly process. Golem armor can only be crafted by finding crafting runes in chests and such, and finding the specific crafting runes that craft it. These runes will show you the crafting recipe for it, which is 9 random items in the game. The set bonus for the full set of armor is Repulsion, which knocks back anything that hits you, including Darklings, and Diamond Skin 1, which gives you +4 armor toughness. However, there is a secret set bonus if you increase the quality of all of these to Masterful by reforging them with steel ingots, which gives you Diamond Skin 2, which gives you +8 armor toughness, and Repulsion 2, which knocks enemies further away. The pros to this set are that it has really high base armor points and base armor toughness. It gives you knockback resistance, and obviously the 2 potion effects, which are amazing. However, the cons are that it takes lots of looting to find and randomized items needed to acquire, a lot of the times resulting in the need for music discs that can only be obtained by skeletons killing creepers. So typically this set can be a bit of a grind to acquire, but compared to some of these other sets, not near as bad. Troll leather armor can be crafted by using the leather that you get from trolls, which is again color coordinated. And it doesn't have a set bonus, but each individual piece of armor gives you a percentage increase to your projectile damage reduction. This reduction is global, not locational, so if you put on the chestplate, it'll give you 30% projectile damage reduction, period. The pros to this set is that projectile damage is the most useful of the damage reductions, as pretty much every Lycanite mob ranged attack is considered a projectile by the game's code. However, the cons are that you can only find these trolls underground, and underground is super dangerous early in the game. The Tide Guardian set is pretty awesome because it comes in like 7 different colors and is crafted by killing sea serpents and sirens. Just putting one of these armor pieces on gives you water breathing, and each armor piece gives you 1 level of strength if you're in the water, to a max of strength 4. The pros to this set is that it gives you a really good damage boost if you're in the water, so carry around a water bucket and just place it at your feet when you're attacking stuff. It's great for underwater dungeons, which are highly profitable, and it's easier to acquire than dragon armor, as beach sea serpents move slow and have no ranged attacks. The cons, of course, are that sea serpent kills and siren kills are needed to get it, which can be a bit dangerous. Living armor is a parasite armor set that can only be obtained in the lost cities. It takes lots of different parasite kills and their parts to craft, and the bonus you get for equipping the full set reduces the level of fear and viral to 1 for the duration of the time you're equipping it. Each individual armor piece can also adapt to 3 different damage types, which when adapted fully reduces the damage that damage type deals by 10%. So if all 4 of my armor pieces were adapted to a zombie hitting me, it would reduce the damage the zombie would deal by 40% additionally along with all of my other protections. It can also be reforged by using vial shells, which are a craftable parasite item. The pros to this armor is that it has very high durability, customizable defense, and is pretty good for the Lost Cities. It's also highly recommended to adapt all of your armor pieces to the thrown damage type, which can be done pretty easily by drinking a fire resistance potion and letting a cinder hit you a bunch with its projectiles. Additionally, whenever you're hit by something, there's a chance of adapting to that specific damage type. It won't necessarily adapt to it every single time, but once it adapts to that damage type 10 times, it'll reach its max damage reduction. The cons to this armor set are that it's of course really difficult to acquire, and if you adapt to the wrong damage type, it adapts to that damage type permanently. Also, when you upgrade this armor set to Sentient, you'll get rid of all of your enchantments and modifiers. The Sentient armor set is mostly the same as the Living armor set, however there are a couple differences. The biggest one being that each armor piece can adapt to 20% damage reduction of 3 different types, to a max of 80% if you adapt to the same damage type on all pieces, and the base armor points and armor toughness are higher. This armor set can be obtained by farming higher level parasites such as the assimilated Ender Dragon for blood tears, and then turning the blood tears into sentient cores. Chainmail, Iron, Bookworm, Diamond, and Dragon armor all don't have set bonuses. However, in terms of general progression, you'll typically use pretty much all of these besides the Bookworm armor, because the Bookworm armor is just not very good. Ice armor can be obtained simply by getting ice chunks by mining ice. It doesn't have a set bonus, however, the bonus for each individual piece is that it reduces your temperature by 2 stages. So with a full set, you'll be cooled by 8 stages. It's reforged with ice chunks. And the pros to the set are that you can get it from day 1, it's pretty good cooling, and it gives you a little bit of armor. The cons is that equipping the whole set in most biomes will make you freeze, so like the armor itself will kill you, unless you have wool armor to counteract the cold or you're in a really hot biome. It also has ridiculously low durability. Wool armor is pretty much the opposite of ice armor, and it can be crafted with wool. Each armor crease increases your temperature by 2 stages, and the full set warms you by 8 stages. It's reforged using wool, and same thing as ice armor, it'll kill you if you're equipping all of them in a warm biome, or at least not like a tundra or something, and it has absurdly low durability as well. Sheep armor is like wool armor except a slightly better variant, and is crafted with wool and leather armor. The bonus for equipping the full set is sort of a secret bonus as it doesn't show up as a potion buff or anything, and it simply gives you the ability to not be seen by Cyclops. There's only like one structure that can spawn a Cyclops, so it's a pretty niche use, but if you do find it and you want to loot that structure, it's great for that. The Cyclops will only be able to see you if you take off one of the pieces, and can only attack you if you're not crouching. The pros of this set is that it's obtainable from day 1 and gives you like half the heating of wool armor and the armor points and durability of leather armor. However, the cons are it's not leather armor, so you can't turn invisible with it, and you can still overheat and such if you're not equipping like ice armor or you're not in a cold biome.
Moo moo. Moo moo. 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 Moo moo. 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 Moo.
Armor, also known as Scarlet armor, can be found as a rare drop from the Sacrificial Amulet, which is a rare drop from a Mimic. Equipping all 4 pieces of this armor gives you Vulnerability, which increases the damage you take by 20%, and Rage 4, which gives you 40% movement speed and 40% melee damage. It only costs 1 Scarlet to reforge this armor, so pretty cheap, and as far as pros go, it looks pretty cool, it has high durability, and it's the highest damage dealing armor set in the game. Though it's not without its cons. One being that its base defense is equivalent to iron. Another is that the 20% damage increase does kind of hurt, but the worst one is the drop rate. The chance of getting a Mimic is 1 in 100 chests that don't have pre-generated loot, which already is a minority of chests in the game, so typically you'll be finding these in Lycanite dungeons or dragon nests. The Sacrificial Amulet is a 1 in 21.5 chance to drop from the Mimic, and getting just one of the armor pieces to drop from the Mimic is a 1 in 5.625 chance. Putting all these numbers together, about 1 in 12,000 chests will actually give you one of the Scarlet armor pieces. So as cool as the armor is, I don't really recommend the grind at all. The Ninja armor set is also found from Sacrificial Amulets and Mimics, and there's only 3 armor pieces in the set. With all 3 armor pieces equipped, you get Sky Stride, which gives you an air dodge, and Forceful 8, which gives you 300% increased dodge distance. If you weren't aware, you can dodge in RLCraft by picking up the skill in the agility tree and then binding the dodge key to something, and it's pretty handy. However, with this armor set, you can dodge not only just on the ground, but also in the air, and the dodge distance is insane. It's super good for mobility, but also super dangerous, as when you slam into a wall hard enough, you take kinetic damage based on how fast you hit it. So yeah, very cool, very mobile. However, it has the same cons as the Scarlet armor does, but since there's 3 pieces in the set, it's technically easier to get, but still totally unachievable. And if you do end up getting a piece and you really like the way it looks and you want to equip it, you can reforge it with iron. The Wizard armor set also only has 3 pieces, and is also found from Sacrificial Amulet drops. This set, however, has individual bonuses per item in the set, as each piece of wizard gear that you equipped gives you 1 mana regen. Since your base mana regen is 1, adding +1 to this doubles it, getting another one triples it, and getting all 3 in the set quadruples it. However, if you do equip all 3 pieces of armor in this set, it also gives you the full set bonus, which randomly teleports you. I think this was intended to be a good thing, but for anyone who's used the Ender Queen's tiara crown thingy, it's kind of annoying. It can be reforged with iron as well, and I'd say the pros for this set is that you don't need the full set to actually use it, unlike the other armor sets. And the cons are that its defense is equivalent to chainmail, and the full set is just not good. The X407 armor set is very different than the other ones. You don't get anything for equipping the full armor set, however each individual piece has its own buff. The helmet gives you night vision, which is pretty handy, but the Dragon's Eye Bauble also does that, so whatever. The chest piece gives you strength 1, which is just +3 damage, so pretty nice. The leggings give you jump boost 4, which is just +3 blocks of jump height, which is also pretty nice. And the boots completely negate all fall damage, which is pretty good, I'd say. Definitely not strictly better than any other random pairs of boots or anything. The X407 armor set can be reforged with diamonds, and as for pros and cons, the pros are that each piece is individually useful, so you don't need to pull all 4, and each armor piece has pretty high durability. The cons are that it has the base defensive diamond armor, just like the Neptunium set, and if you want to equip these individual pieces, you're probably going to have to break another armor set, though I guess that's not really a con depending on the build you're going for. Cushioned boots have a randomized crafting recipe, just like the Golem armor, and you can find that crafting recipe just by finding the crafting rune that correlates to it, and it gives you 75% reduced fall damage and takes 50% of the damage reduced that way as durability damage. Since the armor only has 117 durability, it can break pretty fast if you're taking a lot of fall damage, and it also will break instantly if you fall too far at once. Also, they can be reforged with wool, so getting masterful isn't too hard. The pirate hat is interesting because it doesn't have any sort of set bonus or anything, but it also doesn't have durability. So there's no level requirements, it just gives you 7 armor on your head and infinite durability. It won't allow you to enchant it with mending or unbreaking because there is no durability coded onto this thing, it just doesn't have any, but all the other helmet enchantments do work on it, and it does just kind of passively give you 7 base armor, so it's not too bad. In fact, for like tanky high durability builds, it's actually really good. You can find it by killing pirate skeletons. I'd estimate it's probably around a 1 in 10 chance of dropping from them, looting pirate ship chests, or finding it in a structure that naturally spawns in the end. You can reforge it with leather, so it's not too bad to get masterful. The Archeologist Hat, on the other hand, supposedly gives you around 25% increased ore gains, so it sort of acts as a small fortune buff. To put it in perspective, I got 12 diamond from 10 diamond ore blocks when I was mining with a normal pickaxe. You can get this hat by finding the archaeologist villager that spawns underground in a little underground house, and he sells it for pretty cheap if you go all the way to the right of his trades. The hat does have really low durability though, so be careful if there's like any mobs nearby. The witch hat is also pretty interesting because it specifically targets witches, and you can find it as a rare drop from witches. While equipped, witches won't attack you, and it halves the damage you take from them. You can literally go up to a witch and punch it, and it'll just drink a potion and heal itself. It won't even attack you back. However, if you take the hat off and the witch aggroes you, and then you put it back on, it's still going to keep attacking you. Another effect of the hat is it shields you from being cursed by specters that spawn underground in really low light levels. Typically, if a specter touches you, it disappears and it makes a little damaging sound, and one of your items will get cursed. With the witch hat equipped, none of your items will get cursed even if this happens. And as for reforging, the witch hat can also be reforged with leather. The Blindfold is an armor piece that can be crafted with string and leather, and when equipping it, it gives you permanent blindness 3 until you take it off. You can get rid of the blindness effect just by equipping sunglasses baubles, but the main reason you'll ever want to use this is when you're fighting a Gorgon. Normally, if a Gorgon looks at you, its face will get all ugly, and then you'll get turned into stone and instantly die, and all of your armor will break. However, if you're wearing a blindfold, the Gorgon won't do this and will just attack you like a normal enemy, and you can beat him up. Or beat her up, I guess. The Blindfold cannot be reforged and gives you a really low amount of armor, so typically it's not going to be a great item to use at all. The Golden Crown doesn't have any set bonus, but it is a really nice alternative to iron armor that just has more durability and has no level requirement. It can be reforged with gold and found as random loot in chests around the world. The Ender Queen's Crown is supposed to be a bauble, and it is a bauble and it works as a bauble, but it also can go on the head slot for some reason, even though you can't enchant it with any enchantments, and it doesn't have any effect when it's in the head slot. I'm only including it because it can go on your head slot, even though it doesn't really do anything. The sunglasses, on the other hand, provide no armor, but they do go on your head, and they do have durability. They can also be enchanted with anything that a normal helmet can be enchanted with, and go into your bauble slot. One thing to note with this, however, is that even though it does give you blindness immunity in the head slot or in the bauble slot, the bauble reforged modifiers only work in the bauble slot, and the helmet reforged modifiers only work in the helmet slot. So basically, if anyone thinks you can get extra luck by putting it in your bauble slot with the luck modifier that helmets normally get, you can't, unfortunately. Lastly, earplugs are crafted with 2 wooden buttons, have really low durability and really low defense, just like the blindfold, and these are specifically used on sirens. So if you equip it, the siren singing does not draw you toward them. This might need fact checked, but when I equip these and I walk up to a siren, they don't really attack me because they don't get into the anchored state unless you attack them or their song brings you to them. So take that as you will, I guess. You can enchant this with all of the normal enchantments, and besides that, it's kind of useless. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the armor sets in the game. Let me know if you liked this. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments, and I'll try and get that pinned or something. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more informative RLCraft content like this, and also if you want to get a notification when I drop my next big video. I know I said in my 100 days video I probably wouldn't be doing another big video for a while because it takes a lot of editing, but I unfortunately really like stupid hardcore challenges and ended up doing another one anyways. And also, as always, if there's a specific bit of content you want me to cover, just leave a comment because I read through all of my comments and I'll consider it if it's something that I think is pretty worthwhile and something that should be covered.